Welcome back to the NFA Review channel, everyone. Today we are going to review the AB Suppressor's Mission Enhanced Little Bird. So a Ruger 1022 integral barrel version of their Little Bird suppressor. So if you guys already watched my review last week, we already reviewed the muzzle can, the Little Bird, here on the channel, and it performed very well. Lucky me, they sent this test unit in already set in a Ruger 1022 and a scope, so I didn't have to go out and buy these items just to get the review done for you guys. And the scope was already zeroed, which also saved me a lot of money. Considering the political climate and the scarcity of ammo these days, that was a welcome gift. But actually yesterday, my friends and I and some neighbors went out and had a random range day. And I think it's important, even with the climate that we're in, the scarcity of ammo, the cost of ammo, that we still get out and enjoy our hobby. So yesterday was actually very, very needed stress relief. So I packed up a lot of guns and gear. We went out to the range and just had a good time. And this is one of the guns that I brought with me. And the general consensus was that this was a really, really quiet suppressor at a price point way under the competition. But I want you guys to decide for yourself. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna cover the specs as usual. We're gonna cover how to take it apart for cleaning. And then of course, we're gonna hit the range and you guys get to hear what it sounds like. Okay, now these specifications are obviously going to be pertaining to the barrel only, the actual suppressor unit, and not the gun itself. So the overall length of the Mission Enhanced Little Bird comes in at 18 inches, and the actual rifle length, so the actual barrel rifling, is 11.5 inches, and then you have the suppressor after that. And they also actually dress the crown with a brass rod post-machining so you don't lose any accuracy. Moving on, we have a outer diameter of 0.920 inches, so that's very standard for a bull barrel on a Ruger 1022. And then the weight actually goes down. So it started at 3 pounds, 1.8 ounces, and then after machining and all the suppressor parts were installed, it came in at 2 pounds, 8 ounces. So a nice little weight savings there on the front of the gun, because if you think about it, all this here, this 6.5 inches or so, is all hollow with lightweight aluminum parts, and then the rear here is all the actual factory barrel that has been machined down. So you have better wielding. You know, the weight transfer is going to be closer to the shooter, which is pretty cool. Speaking of which, the material is, the barrel itself is 4140 chromoly, and then just like the muzzle mountable Little Bird, the internals on the suppressor are 7075 aluminum. And as far as finish, it does only come in a blued finish for right now, so that's going to leave it open for you to do aftermarket coatings. I particularly do not like blued finishes because I don't clean my guns like I'm supposed to. I have left them in my vehicle overnight before, whether we're camping or traveling to events, and I've shot them and put them away wet, as the term goes, and I have found rust on my blued guns. So I suggest getting it coated aftermarket, a quick Cerakote job on the barrel, like a flat black. That would definitely do good for longevity. Now, as far as the decibel reduction, it's going to be pretty much the same as the muzzle mountable version. So it comes in on this particular host shooting CCI standard velocity at 106.32 decibels. So very, very quiet. It's going to be, let's see if I can do this here, pretty close to that. That's pretty much all you hear when you shoot this gun. You hear the firing pin, the bolt cycle, and then of course the projectile whizzing through the air, and then it hitting its intended target. Whether it's a dirt, steel, tree trunks actually are extremely loud if they're out in the woods, especially if it just rained. Wow, it is pretty loud to shoot a tree. Do not recommend that if you're trying to stay low key. Now, as far as the retail price, and that's what I kind of brought up at the beginning of this video, punches way under the competition at a retail price of $449. So yeah, most integral barrels are pushing around, you know, the $900 mark. So definitely bang for your buck here. Again, wait till the end of this video to make up your mind on if this is something that you guys need to add to your collection. Now, as far as Patreon, the group buys have been going pretty good. We did a group buy of 15 little birds with the last video. They got the little bird, salt and pepper shakers, a counter mat, a hat, and a decal pack. And we're doing the same thing for this. So they're gonna do a run of 15 special serial numbers with my logo engraved on the barrel with a laser, salt and pepper shakers with my logo, a counter mat, a hat, and a decal pack, all for $400 shipped to your dealer. So that's even better. 50 bucks less, and you get a bunch of extra stuff with it, which is pretty cool. So 15 lucky people will get that. The little bird package we just did in the last video sold out in 2 days, which was pretty cool. So now let's go on to how to take it apart. I'm gonna slide it a little bit this way so the barrel doesn't go off frame when I start taking it apart. Now, if you didn't watch my last video, the little bird and the mission enhanced little bird come with this takedown tool. And it has markings on the outer diameter that tell you exactly how far to set the baffle. So we're gonna go ahead and cover that real quick. To take it apart, just insert these pins to the corresponding holes in the cap. That came off really easy. Something I want to mention too while we're doing this live, I haven't taken this apart yet, is this gun has probably 500 to 600 rounds shot through it, through me alone, and then I don't know how much it was shot at the factory before I got it. So that came off easy, no O-ring at the end, nothing froze up there. So what you do, just insert the tool and then start backing out the baffles. Now, a subscriber on my last video had some concerns with buildup, and I had explained in the video, and I'll explain again in case again you haven't seen the other video, that these baffles are cut like a tap. Okay, so just like a machinist would use a tap to thread a part, these are cut the same way, so they will cut through the carbon and lead buildup inside the tube, which is pretty cool. So again, you know what, if you haven't watched the Little Bird video, you should pause this one and go ahead and click that link and go check it out and then circle back, because I really get into depth on that video. So there are 4 of these aluminum baffles, again 7075, and the outer surface of this tube is 4140 chromoly. And I asked AB Suppressors the next day, I said, hey, what do you guys use to do this faster? Because this kind of takes a while. And they actually use a large drill chuck, and they just pull them all out. He said they've never had a problem pulling one out. They said they had one come in for service where the end user had shot 10,000 rounds through it without cleaning, and it was a little hard to get out, but when they put it on the drill, it cut right through everything and came right out, which was pretty cool. Recommended service cleaning interval on this tongue twister is 500 rounds, so a whole brick of ammo. Listen, if you're out there shooting bricks of ammo in today's climate, you must have a huge supply of 22 laying around, so kudos to you, and you can worry about cleaning your suppressor later, I guess. So you'll see here as I back them out. Also, I want to mention, if you're at home and you're having trouble and you don't have a large chuck drill, I didn't have one. I have like a, Homer Boy DeWalt status, it's not like a huge commercial version. This 1/2 inch socket will fit right on the end of that, and then you can torque it out. Okay, so that's like, you're probably not going to need it, but I wanted to mention that to you guys so you know. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this because removing baffles is pretty boring.
A few moments later.
Real quick, I could feel it cutting. That was pretty cool. And I have carbon and lead dust on my fingers here because they're at the base of the barrel, and as the tapped baffles are coming out, it's just like pushing all that stuff with it, which is really cool. So such a simple solution to this problem of carbon buildup inside a rimfire suppressor. Such a simple solution, and it's one of those like, it's not going to work, and it works just fine actually. Because when you do have these baffles in your hand, and I mentioned this in the last review, they're so light and like insignificant. It's just hard to rack your brain around these working as well as they do, and they work very well. So this is actually really cool. I'm glad that this is really used, because this kind of shows you guys, and I'll put some close-ups here. This really shows you guys what to expect as a user, as an owner, post-shooting for a while. So again, these probably have, you know, 500 to 1,000 rounds through it, and they came out just fine. I know I shouldn't look down the barrel of a gun, but yeah, there's not a lot of buildup. Actually, the threads are clean. I'll try to get a close-up of those if I can get enough light in the barrel as well. So pretty simple to service. These are aluminum, so you can't throw these in an ultrasonic cleaner. So you're going to want to take care and just kind of knock off the large chunks with a brush. Again, it doesn't need to be squeaky clean. Some carbon buildup will actually help suppression. So once you get them clean, you can reverse the process and throw them in. Of course, you're going to make sure that the cone is facing the chamber of the gun. Otherwise, it's not going to work that well, and you won't be able to get your tool to work. A commenter on my last video also asked if the notches, if the alignment of the notch on the baffle matters, and one of the owners of AB actually replied to him on YouTube, which was cool, and said during their testing they found it does not matter because the spacing is so wide in between each baffle. So there you have it. The alignment of the notch does not matter. So when you throw it back in, when you reinsert it, you're going to want to screw the first baffle into that first notch here. So pretty self-explanatory. You have your depth gauge here on the takedown tool. So just screw it all the way in, stop at that last notch, add your next baffle, then you'll stop at notch 2, and so on and so forth. So pretty cool. As far as the barrels and the stocks, those of you out there that already have a Ruger host laying around, you're going to need a bull barrel stock. This Magpul one, it's actually the first time I've ever held one of these ones on the Ruger 1022. Very, very solid, robust setup here. I mean, it's like, I feel like I can just go hiking and just like throw it down and just, Magpul really did a good thing here with this stock. So I actually suggest just getting this one. All right, there you go. There's the first baffle, and we'll throw in baffle 2. They did say that they're going to try to release a barrel for the 22 version of the Ruger precision rifle, but that's based on barrel availability from Ruger. So as soon as Ruger can kind of catch up on their back orders of the actual rifle, they'll sell AB suppressors, just the stock barrel, and they can machine those down for you guys. And you'll have 2 different hosts that you can buy the Mission Enhanced Little Bird for. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing put back together so I don't bore you guys to death. Pretty self-explanatory again on how to set the depth on these. I'm already at baffle 2 and it is lined up. And I'm going to continue to do this, and then I'm going to grab some bricks of ammo. And we're going to go hit that range, and you guys can hear what it sounds like. Again, I will put the reminder on the screen, but when you watch my videos, you want to watch them with high quality headphones so you guys can really hear the tone that I'm hearing in real life. I go to great lengths to make sure that it sounds as close as possible for you guys at home. So let's go ahead and get to the range. Well, anytime you get a review an integral setup, it's definitely going to be a fun day. I don't know what else to say other than it doesn't get much quieter than this. Very substantial package too. I mean, even with the Magpul stock, the Athlon scope, it just feels like one cohesive, solid unit. I wish you guys could feel this in your hands. Those of you that have this stock out there know what I'm talking about, but man, it just feels quality. Now, as far as sound profile, this is basically all you heard. Ready? That was basically it. All you heard was a bolt slap. So yeah, I mean, it just doesn't get much quieter than that. I don't think it's possible. You would have to add something to the bolt to quiet it down even more. As far as accuracy, like my last review, I was in between takes on and off camera. I've been shooting, by the way, a lot of 22. Even it's going to be really hard to find replacement ammo these days, but on and off camera between this review and the last review, about 600 rounds. So 300 rounds from the Little Bird review and 300 rounds on the MELB here. So I did a lot of playing around on and off camera so I could familiarize myself with it before I gave you my thoughts on it. And then of course I record the scenes that you guys see. So I was pegging that steel at 100 yards, just freehand, just kind of like haphazardly aiming at it, and it was hitting right where I was aiming. So pretty awesome. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the review. For those of you that are a gold member on Patreon, well, hopefully you guys can snag one of the group buy guns before they all run out like the Little Bird did. So big shout out to AB Suppressors for not only sending these for test and evaluation, but hooking up my gold members on Patreon. That was really cool of you guys to do. You didn't have to do that, but you chose to. And now some cool guys get some really cool gear. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Our next review is going to be from Coltac with a belt-fed rated suppressor cover, which is freaking epic. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss that one. See you next time.